At the ripe age of 31 years old, I can finally say that I feel as though I am living below my means. And this is something that I had always heard people talk about, especially those, who were in DINK households, which is double income, no kids. And I always aspired towards it. And there were definitely times that I told myself that I was living below my means. But in reality, once the first of the month hit and I knew that the mortgage, the bills, the car note, the utilities, like everything was about to hit and it was just going to be yanked out of my account. Yeah, that told the true story of whether or not I was truly living below my means. And I can definitely say that a big component of finally being able to emotionally be in the situation, I would say two things. One, that double income piece. As someone who works in big tech and literally saw double income tech money left and right when I was living in Seattle, and having them as mentors, like those kinds of people as mentors, and hearing about just like the ease and like the exciting ways in which they talked about money, that was always something I aspired towards. And I almost said earlier this year, but in April of last year, my husband started his full-time job after being in grad school. We met in undergrad, so 2014 through 2018, he was in undergrad. Then he went to grad school. Then he got his PhD, and during that whole time, I will say the grad school stipends and what they get paid is not necessarily a threshold where you can truly feel like the double income lifestyle that I was seeing with, my mentors and whatnot in Seattle. But now being on the other side, and last year was a really momentous year for us where we paid off both of our car notes. All of the credit cards were taken care of, all of the loans. If you watched my 2025 marriage wrap video, I talked about how I had a Milan laser loan. It was 0% APR, so we were not giving out any interest to these banks, but it was I think it was like a 5-year loan or 3-year loan or something like that. And I was like, let me just take care of this. And now, like, literally not having to worry about paying anyone anything besides the mortgage is huge. So I think that was one big thing, is like truly living this DINK life. And the second component of that, yes, you can have double income, but getting a lot clearer on what it meant to steward over our money well. And a big part of that stewardship came after we took the time to actually sit with the numbers and be like, okay, we can't just ballpark like, oh yeah, we spent about this month, or we're planning to bring in about XYZ. No, like it wasn't until we downloaded this app called Monarch, and for over a year, we had been looking for an app that was conducive for tracking like joint income, because we do have a joint account that our 9-to-5 checks go into, and then we disperse accordingly into our own separate accounts. But it took us a while to find one that worked for us and made sense for the way that we were managing our money. But once we got very clear with Monarch and we're actually able to see, like, this is the collective income coming in, this is what bills are looking like, this is what, someone's spending looks like, and like this is how much you're spending on trips and all that, like we were really able to get more aggressive and say, okay, this is what we have left to pay off in debt. These are our savings goals for the end of the year, and these are our investment goals for the end of the year. That truly was a game changer, because then it was like, dang, I only got $2,000 left to pay on this thing. I might as well just knock it out real quick. And versus like continuing to feel the weight of the bills and the weight of just knowing that the top of the month was always just going to be like a money suck. Like, no matter how much you make, if you are not actually living below your means, you will always feel as though there's like this weight on your shoulders when it comes to the financial burdens. Oh, I shouldn't say burdens, but the financial responsibilities that come with adulthood. So now we are at the point where we've essentially broken out our paychecks. So now Darian takes care of mortgage, bills, so utilities, and then like date nights and all that jazz. And then I use my paycheck for all of our investments and savings. And so another big money goal that we had for 2025 was to max out on 401k. And we were able to do that. We actually ended up maxing out at the end of November. So when my December 1st paycheck hit, and it was double what I was used to seeing, I was like, oh crap, I hope that something did not go wrong on the back end. But when I looked through the direct deposit details, I saw that we had maxed out. So once that took place, I could no longer contribute to the 401k for 2025. So that's where we are now, is like, I'm gonna continue to be aggressive in maxing out 401k again this year, because my employer does 50 cents to the dollar. So for every dollar that I contribute to my 401k, my employer will contribute 50 cents, which is huge. It was literally like almost $12,000. Yeah, almost $12,000 worth of free money, if you will, that my employer gave towards my retirement. So thanks. So that's happening. We have really big savings goals this year, just with getting that cushion. There's been continuous like skepticism around what's happening in the market. And so we just want to be on the safe side and give ourselves at least that 6 months worth of expenses in savings. I think right now we have maybe like 2 months. So by June or July, we should get to that 6 month goal. And then of course, also saving for baby Dixon, saving for travel. And I think what we do a good job of with travel is like planning in advance and knowing how much we need to put towards a trip. And then once we have that goal, if it is a big one, like Brazil, we're planning to go to Brazil later this year. So we'll create a sinking fund where we're essentially saving a specific amount at each paycheck in order to ensure that we have plenty, so that we're not having to scrap at like on vacation. That's like one thing that I hate, is like, if I'm gonna be on vacation, first and foremost, the accommodation has to be at least at the standard of what I'm used to when I'm at home. And that's like a very big standard that I put in place for myself, probably like in my late 20s. And then the other thing is not feeling as though everything has to be like a tight budget when we're going out. So if we know that we have, $2K left to spend when we are on a trip, we can get the cabana, like we can get the premium experience, because we earned it, and like that's what vacations are for. So excited for the vacations that we'll take this year. And then again, just continuing to monitor everything in Monarch and making sure that we are like living well below our means and kind of have that cushion of comfort, while also aggressively going after our savings and investment goals. So this will be our first year with no debt, no student loan debt, no car note, no credit cards, no nothing. And I'm definitely going to be intentional around like allowing my nervous system to appreciate and feel the good in the sacrifices, and just like getting to the point where we do not have any debt. So that is where we are. I'm very excited for 2026 and all the opportunities that will come. But the stewardship is just as important as the opportunities that we receive. So if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe and like. We are cranking out videos every single day for the first 100 days of 2026. So I will see you tomorrow.